God, what happened?
May the souls of our departed keep fighting. Amen. He said, welcome and share this as you join.
If civil war comes,
this is our space.
And I do think it is imminent. You're quite right.
We are joining.
It will for us be
liking it to notify others. Today is our fundraising.
Our people here have for a long time been prepared for this eventuality, and I am confident of their readiness. I think that when it does come, the people on the other side.
Mazi Chukuma, please, you should take note of the space. The co-host can go ahead. Please, let's keep going, please. Thank you. I think something else is playing now.
Yeah, what did you say, Mazin? So?
No, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. We are done with the national anthem. Then we move on. Sister Enoho is here.
Don't worry, I got everything under control. Okay, Professor, please make your intro. Take the mic, please. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from my end. Good afternoon. Mazi Chukwumeze, good afternoon to you. Thank you for having us here today. Mazi Otumawaya, Karma Israel, King Young, Nonso, Tochi, Archbishop. I greet everybody. I greet the Prime Minister. David Nana, I greet you. I see you. Biafra First Love, everybody in the house. It's a pleasure to always be amongst brethren. And like I would say, it's a pleasure to always be amongst blood. Today is a wonderful day. We're trying to rewrite or answer certain questions that are hanging, and it's kind of causing some kind of confusions in our mind. And I hope as to progresses, we'll be able to leave here at least with so many questions answered in the little time we have. I'm not going to say too much. Just going to give my little submission so we can start the day. And like I said, I welcome everybody. And yeah, let's enjoy the show. Thank you, Chukwumeze. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Eno. Thank you. Yeah, we are here to talk about our nation, our land, our heritage, our culture, our existence as a people. I want us to know that there's no other nation in the world like Biafra. Biafra is a very distinct nation. And why do I say this? Biafra is the only nation that has given birth to so many tribes, but yet one ancestral lineage. What is Biafra for you? What is Biafra for me? Biafra is that nation that has existed from time immemorial. Biafra once used to be the capital of the black race. Biafra begotten so many races. But there's an Indian agenda from the world towards Biafra, and the reason why they have tried so much to make sure that we never surface. But just like the sun, you can never stop the sun from rising, and that's who we are. I always ask people, look at that name Biafra. What does it mean to you? You see, the name Biafra came from 3 different words, and that was later shortened to give it that name Biafra, because this kind of depicts the kind of people we are. Even before Nigeria was formed, the British themselves, the imperialists, the colonial vandals, the best terrorists of its kind, because whether you like it or not, those are the real terrorists, because we were in our own space, minding our own business, living our life, enjoying our heritage, the culture, the blessings that Chukwu Okike Abiama has given to us. Before these vandals came into our land. And when they came in, they understood that we are a very different people from every other people that's part of that contraption that you find today. They know we are not one people. They came in, they studied us, they knew who we are, they studied our ways, you understand? They lived with us because we are the embodiment of humanity. You can listen to, you can see it in our language. The Igbo people call human being Madu, means the beauty of life. The direct DNA of humanity lies in us. And the British people came, they studied us, they knew all these things. They even tried to act like they were like just good people coming to, like our people, our forefathers were welcoming, very welcoming. And they used this and they took advantage of us. And the reason why they even hate us more is because out of all black race, Biafrans were the ones that were the last to be conquered by the imperialists, by the colonialists. And because of that, they had so much hatred for us, because the casualties that these colonial masses experienced during that time was nothing that they've never seen. And when they eventually were able to get their foot in Biafra land, they vowed that they will never let us rise again. But like I say, can you stop the sun from rising? You can't stop the sun from rising. So that name Biafra came from 3 different words in the Igbo language. It is called Biafu Ora. It says, come and see the sun, that was shortened to give us that word Biafra. So you as a Biafran, just know that wherever you are, you carry that light. And it is time now that we start to do the needful to make sure that this nation given to us by Chukwu Okike Abiama, preserved by our ancestors and passed on to us, is a huge task that must be achieved. And let me tell you something. You see, I don't want us to blame our ancestors for whatever, any mistake or anything, because without them, we will not be here. And I need you to understand something. The mistake that they made 500 years ago when these colonialists started coming in, it's as a result of the time and the season they find themselves in. You see, in Igbo, we have 4 eras. We divide the era, the celestial sphere, into 4 different eras. Not because of they decide to, but because our ancestors were smart. They sat down, they studied all these things. You understand? That was how they were able to do the great things that they achieved. And let me tell you something. Whether you like it or not, no white person invented anything. Every patent that gave birth to all the innovation you see today, even the one that is going to be invented in the future, were all done by the black race. That was why they will keep on telling you that you have no history. Because when they came and conquered us, they took everything. Even as little as a tiny paper, they took everything. And they went and they stored it in their archive. And from time to time, they continue to look into it. They tell you witchcraft is bad. They tell you wizardry is bad. They tell you your religion is bad. They tell you your spirituality is bad. They tell you your culture is bad. They tell you that the things that your forefather, the markings that your forefathers left for you, they tell you that everything is bad. They told you that everything that your forefather did is bad. But yet, they have it in their archive and they continue to use it. So, my people, you need to know who you are. And it's only when you know who you are and you know the history of your ancestor, it's going to resonate that anger in you to say, why did this even happen? And you will stop nothing more at making sure that you try to change history. So I don't want to speak for too long because I know I see a hands up. So I will just give the mic to our Meet Briggy. I'll give him, sir, please, 3 minutes. Just take 3 minutes because we have a lot to talk about today. Then Professor Enoho, I hope you're preparing yourself. So after our Meet Briggy, then I will let you have the floor. Thank you.
Yes, brothers and sisters and lovers of freedom, I like this neologism, this new entrant in the expansion of Biafran freedom, emancipation, and the gospel, meaning the word of God, the word of the nature, which means the word of the people of the nature. And what he has been saying is in correspondence to the word of nature. And I greet every lovers of freedom, and especially the Professor Enoho, Chukwumeze. Kama Israel, everybody here present, Tochi, the minister Otunwamwanya. Yes, we shall meet in Laiti, Finlandia, the king of EFFI. Yes, man, you have known so. You still have, we would need the likes of Nosonkwa to come and get education because it's very important for the diaspora to get the education at the same time for those in homeland to get education, real education that must protect the interests of the people. That is the reason why you have Biafran Republic government in exile and Biafran de facto government in homeland, because I talked to make sure that everything is coordinated in such a way that people will understand that, look, we are all one. Now, when our brother was speaking something, it get to my attention that we should speak on that, because we need to let our people to understand the way that we're supposed to be following this particular opportunity for us to liberate ourselves from the shackles of colonialism. That is the most important thing, what you call the premise inter pares, the lacuna of things. The most important thing is for us to understand that colonial master did not come to develop Africa. Whether it came with Islamic religion or it came with Christian religion, or it came with the kind of education that will make our believed who is who, or our believed elites, not to bow down to the plight of the people. I am cooling down in this arco temporale to explaining to you that if you have somebody like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, never you think that you have somebody. If you're a woman and you are thinking that you have had a woman that is working at WTO, never you think you have a woman. You have a very, very clueless woman. Do you know that Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala went and proposed herself to economic revamp of Nigeria, and the Fulanis chased them away, together with the people who gave her a job? Because in Biafra land, you have people that command. In America, you have people that command. That is, in colonial territory, you have people that command. Then, in advanced nation, you have people that command the people that are being colonized. Now, the likes of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, we are being commanded to go against the plight of their people. That is what I'm trying our people to understand. The likes of Ngozi Okonjo are being used by the colonial master. Don't stop what I'm saying, because it will save the spiritus of the people that want us to be liberated in this hanky-panky political gambadosia. What I'm trying to tell our people is this: let us follow Prime Minister. That is always the word of His Academic Highness. Ngozi Okonjo and the likes, Soludo, P2B, and the rest of others can never see any terrain fertile in terms of Biafra and the liberation of Africa. And I can refer you to Dr. Arikana of East Africa. Dr. Arikana has the same qualification and the same, opportunity to represent his or her nation all the way from East Africa to America, but she abdicated that position and said Africa first. That is what I have to say today. May God bless us in secularum. I yield my mic.
Yeah, thank you, MID. Thank you for that wonderful submission. Everything you said is well spot on. Yeah, before I pass the mic to our professor to have the floor, please, I want to first of all eulogize and appreciate the Biafran women. Biafran women, you are one of a kind. You are a special breed. You are great people. And I want to tell you something. Do you guys know that even in the spiritual realm, women are of like a higher power than men? Our women themselves are deities. A prudent, virtuous Biafran woman is a woman that when she speaks, the earth, the sea, the ocean, the wind, the sun listens to her. Women, our Biafran women are the only ones that can create life out of nothing. That's why we don't send our women to war, because that which brings life is not allowed to take life. They are special people. And I also want to let you know, if you don't know this today, know this today. The melanin skinned women are the ones with the most complete nutrients in their breast milk. Not to talk about Biafran women who are the first women that ever existed before every other races. So I just want to tell our women, thank you. Continue to do the needful for Biafra. Our leader said at the moment our mothers join this struggle, we will see different changes. We will go to a very, very high level. And today we have a lot of them doing the needful. So on this note, I will give the floor to Professor. I think she has one or two to say. And Professor, please take the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chukwumeze, for that wonderful eulogy to the women of Biafra. Before I go ahead, I realized that Kama Israel raised his hands. I don't know if his thought is still with him. If you want to say something before I go ahead, so he doesn't forget his line of thought. And I also realized that Nonso did the same. So, Kama, are you there? If you're there, just...
Yeah, you can carry on. I'm gonna ask you a question later on, so you can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Kama. Thank you. Our Minister Otuama, do you have anything to say, please?
Please,
Yeah,
I have something to say quickly, please. I'm at work.
Let's
no, so no,
Nonso
I'm
go
at
ahead
work.
first. He raised
wait,
his hands. I
no,
don't
so
know. He wanted to say
Minister.
something. If that's okay.
anybody who wants to interrupt, who's going to interrupt?
Nonso, if you're there, just okay.
Anybody who is going to interrupt this conversation should come up now. I know that since if Enoho picks the mic, we should allow her to finish before we jump into questions. But anyway, the untold stories. These stories, whether you like it or not, it must be told, and we Biafrans must accept it, whether you like it or not, because it's the truth. That's the only thing that will set us all free. Thank you, Ndewon.
Yeah, thank you, Minister Otuama, the watchdog. Thank you so much. Nonso, please make your submission real quick, and so that we can go into the
Oh
topic.
yes, but it's a very quick one. No, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Biafrans, because this is our liberation stage. I'm even at work. This is not allowed, but I don't have any choice. This is
I
the
can't
stage.
hear Nonso. I don't know
Am I
if it's
coming out?
me or...
Don't, Professor, just hold on. When you finish, let you go. Go ahead. Nonso, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So what I'm trying to say is that when I heard our brother Mazi Chukuma, when he was saying that, I know our minister MDI, when he said that if you have people like Koji Iwala, that you don't think that you have anybody. So that is just the fact, because the reason why these people will never come out to support this liberation, even at this stage, it is because right from the beginning they already see the evil, because of their evil conscience, because of their what the kind of evil that they have committed. It will not allow them to support this struggle, because let's just imagine now, when Biafra comes, somebody like
Stand
Pistol
up.
or somebody like P2B
Stand up.
being your driver, like bus normal public transport, because the kind of life these people are living, and we think that these people are big or so whatsoever, or they are important, is a life of like a common taxi driver here in Europe. You understand? So, but when they come to Africa, we look at them as if they are something else, or I don't understand. So the reason why these people will never come out fully to support this struggle is that because they cannot imagine maybe tomorrow seeing themselves like
Chukwumeze, is
driving
Nonso still speaking? Because I can't hear anything.
transportation in
Yeah,
Biafra land.
Massive.
So
Round up, please.
their evil conscience will never allow them to support what
Okay, you
we are
know what?
doing.
I think
I
I'm
leave my
just going
mic
to
here.
go
Thank you.
down and
Since
come back again because
Siloho
I
is not
can
hearing
hardly
me.
hear anybody. I don't know if I'm even audible.
Professor, don't go nowhere. Okay, I think. Anyway, Biafrans, like I said, I welcome you all once again. Do you know that there was a treaty between Biafra and Britain to never join us with this current construct you have in Nigeria today, the colonial construct? And let me tell you something. Have you asked yourself, why is it that they don't want us to leave this zoo? Why is it that they keep trying to keep us to remain in the zoo? You know why? Because it is to continue to maintain that agreement, that discussion that was being done in Berlin, which we call the Berlin Conference. Because whether you like it or not, that conference is what gives birth to everything that you see today. The Europeans themselves had to come together to have that conference so that they can stop fighting among themselves, but instead unite on how to conquer Africa, subjugate us, and keep us in bondage. So please, it is important that we know all these things so that we know what we are fighting for. The Prime Minister understands this. He knows that we need to be free in order for us to achieve our potential. So I think Professor Anoha is back. So please take the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yeah.
I just need. Okay, from the listening section, am I audible? Just the thumbs up is fine. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much again, and I'm just gonna go straight to the topic. It says Untold Stories of Biafra, 1827, Biafran British Treaty. Okay, so this particular topic is interesting to me because I was doing my usual rounds online and checking some certain things, and it occurred to me that, I came across the 1827 treaty, and I think somebody has mentioned it on Space before, so I decided to check it out and know exactly what happened, because I couldn't deal with the fact that everybody you meet or trying to talk about Biafra would only tell you Biafra started in 1967 and it was Franco Pigo that gave the name Biafra. All those narratives were just not working, and narratives like this is what, the generations coming before us, if we don't do something about it, will carry on, and then all of a sudden lies will become old, and it become old truth because it's a lie and nobody said anything about it. So I started, my usual.
Comrade Professor Noho,
Please,
Comrade
please,
Noho,
please
don't,
don't interrupt.
don't
Please.
worry. It's a colleague. It's a colleague. There is something I want to say. She is a colleague. She will understand what I'm saying. Please allow us to say it. We are historians and we understand ourselves. If you would permit me, I will direct the history exactly to what she is saying, because we are trying to help our people. It is. Oh.
Please. Thank you so much. I just want to say, before we speak, let us indicate, because I want this space to move smoothly, please. Professor, go ahead. Thank you, MID, for that submission. Professor, please go ahead. Take the mic.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, I would like this conversation or this lecture to be back and forth. So if in any time that I'm speaking, you have a question, just raise your hand and I would respond. Or if you have something to chip in, just raise your hand, and of course, I'll give you the mic to do that. Okay, so as I was saying, so I went on. I can't deal with the fact that people would come up and say Biafra is 1967, and this is that and that, and yet there's the discrepancy of the maps of the 12th century, the 13th century, 15th century, 14th century. All these maps, world map, have Biafra, and it doesn't make sense. And I'm thinking there must be something that will back up, apart from the maps, that can actually back up this Biafran story, that is not making people see things the way things are supposed to be. So the treaty of the Biafran treaty, rather, with um, uh, Britain came up. And of course, I started searching. Now, there was something that was actually very funny about this particular treaty. You can pretty much see all the treaties between the Yoruba kings, Yoruba, for instance, the Oba of Lagos, the Oba of Ife, Ekpe, and all these kings in the West. You can see the treaties. It's there in Wikipedia, it's there in Google. You can go there, read all the articles, and see all these things. But when it comes to Biafra, you find fragments of it. You have little bits, maybe one or two lines of the articles written, and a whole lot of what's it called, reviews of the treaty. But the treaty itself is restricted, you know. And I was able to trace one to the Oxford Law University. And it was just too bad because it's like every wall you get, you go to this, or you have to subscribe, then you subscribe. When before you subscribe, you have to go to a librarian or go to somebody in the university who is a professor to give you a recommendation to get into the treaty or to get. And I'm like, why is it so difficult for you to find the treaty in every archives? You have to go through protocols. So of course I kept on reading and trying to find out what. And I stumbled across this um, um, review by two professors actually, from the University of Uyo. It was written sometime in I think 1940. Hold on, let me get that date correctly. It should be 1946. Dr. Aniete Enyang, PhD, Department of History and International Studies, University of Uyo, and Dr. Manasseh Ididem Basi. I'm sorry if I got that name wrong. Both of them are from the University of Uyo. Dr. Basi is Department of Political Science and Public Administration and all that. So I'm reading their, treaty, their review on the treaty, and I'm realizing something. The treaty was actually done in 1827, and this treaty was because they have been trying to, they came at first with the war, and it wasn't working. And they went around having treaty. Now, one of the things that struck me was when I went back and read the full treaty between the British Royal Highness at that time and the Shekiri people, which they called Jekri. That was written later in 1885. I'll post that on the trunk box. I don't know how to do that, so I'll just post it, and maybe Chukwumeze can help me put it there so that everybody can actually see it. Hold on, let me just put that up.
Yeah,
So
okay. You can tweet it, and I will just add it to the timeline. Don't worry.
okay,
And
so I'm just gonna post it. It's the full treaty, and you could just see it. Hope it's clear enough because it's a kind of a photocopied copy. So I'm posting that now, and I would also share a link of the treaty of between the Oba of Lagos and the same people. Now there was something funny about the treaty. Every of this treaty written was not written Nigeria. It was written the treaty between the British Empire or the British Kingdom, Queen of England and Ireland and all blah 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 and co, with the kings and chiefs of the Bight of Benin and the Bight of Biafra. Now, to back that up, when the treaty of when the treaty was written with Biafra, the only thing they didn't allow the treaty to be out there, but they allowed the map of the treaty, which shows the clear boundaries of the treaty with the people. Now, when you read, I'll try and see if I can post the article. It's about 5 pages of these two extraordinary doctors. When you read this article, you will find out that they actually wrote a treaty with Biafra and saw that, of course, our people were smart and started getting in on them, that they were trying to come in with certain colonization. So they started telling themselves, okay, let's see where this treaty is going to go. But these guys who are master of deceit, by the way, the so-called British Empire, masters of deceit, went around nations. It was written Biafra Empire. Biafra as a whole, the map stretches out. Let me just post it because it's kind of in my mind. I'm still trying to understand what's going on. Why are we, why is there a treaty written and some people went behind and did another thing and nobody is asking questions or nobody is actually holding them accountable, because a treaty is a legally binding document. Now, if you have a legally binding document that states that these two entities agree on so thing and one goes back without the other and creates something else, of course there should be some kind of punishment or something that is supposed to go. And if at the end of the day these same people are coming out clamoring for certain things, there should be a record that should bring that treaty to say there was a treaty with a certain people. They didn't just fall from the sky. We existed. There was a treaty with the so-called colonial masters who created what we have today as the enclave called Nigeria, which nobody is actually asking what was written in that treaty. Of course, they don't want you to have it. And from the article, it is clear that the people who actually wrote the treaty were killed. Nobody, it's like they took time to cover their evidences so that nobody will come out and say, there is a treaty, so we have to go by the law. But rather, after they had written that treaty, they made sure they cleared their back ends. And then less than 70 or 50 years down the line, they started going around writing treaties with Shekiri, with Calabar, with all these kingdoms or nations which were in the country, in the Biafran Empire, because it was a controversy, a confederacy government that was happening that stretched all the way to Congo. I will post that map because even at that, I'm still asking myself, how is this that nobody is actually, bringing this up to? I'll try and post this up and let's see if Mazi took music and put it up so that everybody can see it, because I want us to see it as we go. Okay, the map. I'm posting 2 maps right now. Hold on, let me check it properly. No, this is not it. I'm posting 2 maps right now. Okay, good. So these are the 2 maps that clearly stated the where's the second one? Gosh. Okay. These were the maps of that was allowed outside the treaty. I have posted it there so you can check it out and look at it. So now, what this treaty is basically telling us is this. These guys came, signed a treaty after a long back and forth of power, of guns and all that, and they see it wasn't working. So they came in and said, okay, fine, let us do this. Let's come to a conclusion with our wars. We'll make you can keep your treaty. We can keep our business trade. We can do business on your conditions. And after we agreed, they went around writing treaties like the one they have with the Shekiri King, which was one of the most annoying treaties I have ever seen. I would read a line from it, or maybe a few articles from it. Hold on. I'll read I think there are about 10 articles. So I'm going to read maybe the first 3 and the ones that actually turned my stomach the most. Because you come into a land and you see certain people and you create treaties after you feel you have conquered them. And one of the things Dr. Bassi mentioned in his review was you wrote a treaty with a people who did not speak your language at that time, in your language, and gave them an interpreter that interpreted it in the way you wanted them to understand, and made them sign something that they didn't even understand. Now, mind you, it wasn't like the people were not educated. It's just that English is not their language. Now, if you must do a treaty with a people who you know that English is not their first language, it is only natural that they should at least have it written in their language that they would understand, so that they know exactly what they are doing or what they are signing. So from what I get is they wrote treaties in their language, knowing that these people would probably write it in a way. And mind you, when they were writing this treaty, they made sure they wrote it with people who won. They did not put their names to people who were their stooges. And after those treaties were signed with all these other little nations, let me use the word little nations, because all these nations made up the government that we have as Biafra, from the Ijaw people to the Shekiris to the Igbos, all of us made up. We were like individual nations that came together to write our own treaty under that banner Biafra. And that was how we were. So they went around going from one place to another writing this treaty. Now, this was the one that struck me the most. After the first articles that says Her Majesty the Queen of Great Britain and Ireland and Co., in compliance with the request of the King, Chief, and people of Jikri, hereby undertake to extend to them and to the territory under the authority of the jurisdiction her gracious favor and protection. It is not your land, first of all. Then it went further to say, the chiefs and kings of Jekri, which is Shekiri, agreed to and promised to return from hold on. I'm actually reading the photocopied version, so it's a bit hard. Okay, this is the one that took me off, right? So this is Article 3. He said it is agreed that full and exclusive jurisdiction, civil and criminal, over Britain's subjects and their properties in the territory. Basically, they are telling you that they would occupy your territory and you would have to basically watch over them, protect them, and anybody that tries to attack them, you will be the one who would put them in check. And then the Article 4 goes, they would have their vessels and all these things that they are doing their trade. You are not allowed to go and get any other person to write another treaty with any other country. Only them must trade. And if, for instance, their vessel have issues or wherever they are doing in your land, you would have to protect them. Then I go, oh, this is exactly the same thing they are still doing today. When you go round to the Niger Delta area, the place they call the Niger Delta area, they have people like the Tompolos and the rest watching over your property for them. And when you touch it, it becomes a crime. And they tell you oil theft and all blah, blah, blah that they say. Sorry, I can see MIB's hands up. Do you have something to say so that you don't lose your line of thought, sir?
MID, are you there? Please, Biafrans, if you have any question, because I want this to be like more of like an interactive section. So we are here to learn from one another. So we have to engage. So if you have
Yes.
anything to say, please, you can just indicate by raising up your hand. So MID, please, just use 2 minutes to make your submission so that we can continue. Thank you. MID, are you there?
He's connecting. I think he's having a network issue from my end. I'm seeing him connecting. So maybe if you can bring him down and bring him up. Thank
you. Okay. All right. Professor, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Okay, so like I was saying, now you have all these treaties. So what they basically did was, after they have written that treaty with us, Biafrans, as a whole nation together, they went around sharing treaties to people. Now, there was something that fascinated me when I read the book of the Lower Tribes of the Niger. I noticed when they were talking about the rest tribes that made up the Niger, they elevated some tribes. Example, they went, oh, I'm not trying to jettison any tribe here. We are all civilized people. But they went on to say, the Shekiri people are so civilized and so this and so that. But whereas on the other side, where you have the Sobo people, the Africa people, the Ika people, they went on trying to say how barbaric we are. The Igbos are human worship, so they do human sacrifices and all that. Then I realized the people they actually praised were the people that accepted the treaty they had to offer. Now, it's not because the people themselves were trying to break out of Biafra, but the thing is, if you look into the way Biafra was, if you go back and read about the Biafran people, how we had the perfect egalitarian system. We had the perfect definition of what democracy was. We knew that even in your families, if you go to your kindred, how they run the kindred is how a proper democratic system works, where the voice of the people is actually what is more stronger than anybody else. If the people decide to say, we don't want this, it will not happen. Whether or not you are the king, whether or not you are the president, whether or not, the people's voice at every time was always heard. The people's voice at every time was what actually make people check people in line. So in those cases, our system was, yes, we had representative of each house, probably representative of each family, each kindred, because it starts from the lower house all the way to the top. You have from kindred to, well, let's say from family to kindred, from kindred to probably villages, from villages to towns and all that. All these were offices that we all occupied. But there was one thing that was actually above all, like I said, the people's voice. So if you are probably at that time the one who is in charge or the power or the leader of the council, and you were messing up, the people can always come and say, okay, we no want. And once the voice of the people has come out, it must be fulfilled. For you to be able to buy the voice of the people, it means that you have to go to every nook and corner. So for me, I believed, according to this lady's this wonderful doctor's review, they went around looking for stooges that they would use, which they are still using till tomorrow. If you go around the system we have now, even in our local places, we have all these people here, from the government houses to our senators to whoever they are and all they call themselves. All these are their stooges that they use, and they come as Indians, they come sign on your behalf without you knowing. And that's exactly what they did. So when they went around signing these treaties, and when it was time for them to actually be the backstabbers going against the treaty they signed, it was okay for them to do it because they just woke up one morning, fiam, and created what today you have as the enclave called Nigeria, undermining the fact that they had a treaty with a people. And till today, that document is actually sort of hidden. And the reason, one of the things that struck me is nobody would actually look for it because we are so preoccupied with everything. Everything. From how the system is being run, from how they make you not even remember that there was a nation before they created this enclave, from how they converted a company who was supposed to be like a let me use the word, a mediator, and all of a sudden you became the owner, creating a colonial system that basically turns the people into slaves in their own land. Now, the people who stood against them, example, King Jaja of Opobo, look at how he ended up. Now, look at how it ended up. And after they did all this, Nigeria became amalgamated in 1914. After the wars, because of course, we saw that these people have started doing their shit. Excuse my language. They started doing their shit. They started going around trying to to, do these things. And we rebelled. And because the rebellion was becoming too much, they brought in their stooges and amalgamated the country without a whole lot of people. I remember then my father would tell me that it took time for some people, even as far as the South, as they call it today, to realize that they were Nigerians. Because it's like you literally waking up one morning and you have a new name. You go somewhere else. Maybe you are living in a place like Akwa Ibom or Ikotekpene, and then you travel to Lagos, which at that time was the heart of the amalgamation because it was the coastal region. They come and said, no, you are no longer Biafra, you are now Nigeria. And you're like, how? When did that happen? And like, that is how it is, and let's just do, and looking at it coming back, look at the PR they had to go through. They started making jingles. Oh, Nigeria, all those songs they were playing subconsciously into your mind. You were there, basically selling the idea. And when it became a problem was when the same people again arose in 1967. Because for Franco Figo to come out and tell internal leader Ojukwu to say, this is, he didn't tell you, he didn't name the country. He only reminded Ojukwu, because he himself was a lawyer. He reminded him and said, come, my very good brother, this is who we were before these people did this evil. Since this evil is not paying us, we might as well just kick this shit out and go back to who we were. And of course, knowing the man that Ojukwu was, I am very certain he also went and did this reveal. And before he even started, he went around trying to meet the likes of Ken Sarawa, trying to make them realize or trying to make them remember that, come on, this is who we are. And the system we had was every single person ruled their own side. We had our boundaries. We knew our boundaries. But yes, we had a banner. And the banner was because we dealt with people outside our space. So when we are addressed outside, they know us as these are the people. That's why in some of the maps, if you check from 14th century down, it is written Supreme Kingdoms as in S, plural, not one kingdom. Supreme Kingdoms of Biafra. Some will say the nations S of Biafra, because all these nations agreed, came together based on the likeness we have, based on the similarities we had, and the blood we share. Don't get it wrong. In Igbo, they will tell you every man is a king in his house. Now, as far as you are a son, you are a nation. That is how it is. A son is as good as a nation. So when you leave your home, starting your own nation, it's automatically you become a nation. You are starting your nation. So if you must work together, all of you as a nation must come together to agree on a certain, line, based on the fact that all of us are connected. And that was how we were. We knew we were one people of different tribes, or let me use the word different bloodlines, but the same family. So we created that system. You can imagine how it started. And this is thousands of years. It didn't just start in the 1600, because their map is going 1600, 1400, 1200. But we started from the beginning. And when we started, it was way from families. We started as a family, from family, one family divided into two families, three families. And of course, as you grow, you need to put certain, what's the word I'm looking for? You need to put certain organization in how you relate, so you don't have. And it was perfect, because I can bet it with you. I will give you an example. In Urobo, there were two clans in Urobo some time ago, which we have a festival for it right now. They do it. Now, the two clans had issues. They were always fighting. Now, these are two Urobo brothers. They were always fighting. When the fight became a problem, they decided to do what? You know what? This one said, you know what? You bring your daughter, I bring my son. Let them marry. So whenever we decide to fight, we remember that we both share blood. Our children are in our house. So we remember that and not continue. And I can assure you, because of the kind of system we ran, that was probably how we settled. If it has become too much, that was how we settled our differences. We would always look for a common ground and say, okay, you have this, I have this, so that we don't usually go back to fight. The strongest treaty usually is blood. When you have a house binded by blood, it is difficult for you to break such treaty, because you would think of the blood or the life that has come from that treaty. But in this case, the people basically wrote a treaty in paper, knowing that they are cunning, knowing that if they surrender, they would lose everything, and knowing that they have the plan to colonize a people, which they are still colonizing and giving you a shabbish ideology of independence because they are still in control. Knowing that, they simply just wrote the treaty, went on, had their Berlin conference, came back and began to destroy. And how they did that was, when they had written treaty with these people who they refused to identify, they still used the same people to fight themselves. Look at what is happening today. We are all the same people. This particular document of the Shekiri people, they have it. But tomorrow, when you tell them you are Biafran, what would they tell you? We are not. We are this. But hello, the treaty you signed did not call you Nigeria. It didn't call you Nigeria because that name did not come until 1914. And the same thing with the Yorubas. I will say, I'll post the link. You know, it's so funny. The Oba of Lagos, Oba Kosoko, was kicked out because he did not sign the treaty, and they put their own king or their own stooge there. I will post the link on the group. When you read the treaty, you will find out that these were two different people. Now, the treaty with those in the Yoruba land clearly stated what they needed. At that time, when they were writing their treaty in the 18th century, I think 1850 something. Yeah, I'll check the date. It was the era of when the British ended the slave trade. And one of the reasons why they ended the slave trade was because in those days, both the Americans and everybody else knew where the port of slavery was, and everybody was coming by themselves. So it was no longer a business viable for them anymore. So they needed to put a stop to it. And the only people that they signed such treaty with were the Yoruba kings. So it tells you where the slavery was coming from and who were the people selling slaves. They had a similar treaty with the Obas of Benin in those days. I will still post that there, but let me take questions because I can see some hands up. And yeah, I can see some hands up, and then we can continue. I think it was MID's hand that was up first, sir. So you can ask your question or make your submission so you don't lose your line of thought. Yeah, Chukwumeze, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, Professor, I'm here.
Okay. I was going to take a few questions because I could see MID's hands up is back, but I don't know if you can hear me. But if not, let Evelyn was here before Emeka, and then Kama is real. So let's just go that way, then we can
Okay,
continue.
we're gonna do
Okay.
it. We're gonna do it 3, please. 3 minutes. Once you hear my bell, start rounding up. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon from here. Am I coming out?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you. So I have a submission. So I also have a question. Let me ask the question very fast. This, because I check in Google and I check this British British and Biafra Treaty. I saw it 1827 and another one 1885. But they didn't put the article there for you to read. So I clicked the article, they tell me to subscribe, all those things. So I don't know if you have
Yes,
them.
that's what I'm trying to let you know. It is only the treaty signed by Biafra and the British that you get to a stumbling block. For you to actually obtain that document, the protocol is out of this world. You would first of all get to subscribe, and then not just subscribing, you have to get a verified Liberian to actually speak on your behalf. And you know what that is. The question is, if you are a Biafran asking for a treaty that they don't want you to get, it's a likelihood that you will not get it.
So, do you have the article that you can share? That
I don't have the article. What I have is the reviews. I have a few reviews. I could share that with you. It will give you an idea of the reason why they are hiding the article, because there is obviously a lot. And I'm saying this, I don't know if the British government has access to that document. I don't know.
Because why I'm asking, I want to know what is is it a group of Biafra? Is it a country? Or what kind of Biafra? Because the Biafra that we know now is the one of 1967 to 1970. So that particular one of 1827 and 1885. So we don't know whether it's a kind of a country that existed before or an empire, or so that is that. So let me just say what I want to say very fast. Thank you. So what I want to say, me, I am from Edo State. My mother is from Delta State. So, and what I want to say now is this. You know, the Nigeria as a system, as a government now, they have succeeded in dividing the Biafra territory. They scattered the southeast, south, and everybody now. So some people now in the south region, as it stands now, they can do nothing again because they are not one language and they cannot come together. And the government, the federal government of Nigeria, has succeeded in dividing them and buying some of their leaders, like Tompolo and Asari Dokubo. So inside this Biafra territory now, the only people that remain now that can be able to stand and bring the others together is the southeast, which is the Igbo, because there they have one language and they can control their people. So that is it. So anybody from South that is thinking that he can do one thing, can fight Nigeria without the southeast, he just deceiving himself, because it's not possible without unity. You cannot even control one state. All the South they are scattered. Delta State is on its own. Rivers is on its own. Edo is on their own. So everybody is acquired, everybody is scattered. So what can you do? The government have succeeded. They have scattered everybody.
Wait, hold on. Mute your mic, please, because I don't know where you're coming from. Are you asking a question or you are giving us narrative?
I have asked my question. I want to say something. I'm from Edo State.
Can you mute your mic? Mute your mic first, please.
What are you?
Okay. I don't know, Chukwumeze, do you want to say something? Because I just wanted to answer his question before we go to the next person.
Yeah. What I want to say is, I don't know where he's coming from. I don't know if he's trying to ask a question, or I don't know if he has been following what the Brigade has been doing under the leadership of our Prime Minister. Biafran has 40 United States of Biafra. And as I'm talking to you right now, more people are still applying to join, to become part of that all those states that makes up Biafra. So you coming here and saying Akwa Ibom is scattered, please mute your mic, please. Please, this space we're gonna be organized and constructive, I beg. Because I'm rowding. If not, I'll take you out. Yeah, so as I was saying, Biafrans knows who are Biafrans. They know themselves. Nigeria has never given us that level field to express ourselves, express our indigenousness, express ourselves as a people. So you coming here, I don't know whether you're coming here to say that thing intentionally.
Allow me to speak now. I won't speak in. You just cut the talk for me. It's not good now.
Like I said, let me finish, then you go ahead. So what I'm saying is, I don't know what you're trying to head at, but I will give you another 1 minute. Ask your question. And don't say Akwa Ibom are scattered, Asaba are scattered, Delta. No. Biafran knows they are Biafran. Right now, we're in the process of restoring Biafra to come together as how we used to be, how our forefathers used to be. even before the 10th century. So go ahead, ask your question, and please don't play around that place you're trying to go to. Thank you.
This person
Elvin, ask your question.
he
1
don't
minute,
have any
please.
question. He just want to come here to disorganize us and tell us that
This is the reason why I hate coming to your space. Are you in echo chamber? Remove me and go and get Biafra alone. Remove me from your space. You can't ever allow me to explain my
nonsense. Now they go beg them, all of them, beg them. How you want beg person to come and know where he's from?
Please, next question.
He did there when they were killing Okoma, he did not say anything. I don't
Kama
know.
is real. Can you go ahead, please?
Now.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I can become Fulani.
Mine is not more of like a
Sorry, I can't hear anyone. Is anybody speaking?
yeah.
Kama is
Hello?
real.
Yeah, can
you hear me?
you take Enoho
hear
out and bring
anybody.
her back so
Have
that
to
she
go
can
down
be
and come
hearing
back
it as
Now
well?
they go beg them. When Fulani go meet
Okay,
them, they say,
Professor,
to Nigeria.
can you go down and come back up again?
No. When Fulani go meet you for road, one kidnap you or one harvest your organ, you go tell them, say no,
Enoho.
don't support them.
Can anybody hear me? Please, if you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up because I can't hear anything at all.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay.
But wait.
Is anybody speaking?
I'm going to take you down and bring you back up.
They will scatter your Twitter space because you guys never learn a lesson. Stop giving these people mic. Stop inviting them. They're the one that is.
Yeah, come on. Go ahead with your question. Go ahead with your question.
They will come and.
Okay. Mine is not really like a question. For now, I will ask a question later on, but I just want to confirm what she was saying regarding the way we ruled ourselves. Because when I was doing the research, because other should I call it under empires, they use the word kingdom, but Biafra were not using the word kingdom, but there are kingdoms within Biafra as well. And the reason why they are not centralized as the kingdom of Biafra is the way we ruled ourselves, through age grade, eldership, and different ways we use to rule ourselves that time. That is why they are not is not kingdom of Biafra. But surprisingly, within the Biafra, they have kingdom of different kingdoms within the Biafra. So anybody having the mindset that Biafra started in 1967, or somebody named Biafra, actually the person is just like you're coming from Nigeria where there is no history, and it's hard for you to understand that Biafra has been existing even before British. I also made a research trying to also find out, about other kingdom, and I've also find out that Biafra was actually like the capital of other kingdoms up to Ethiopia, as that time. So if it's just an empire that just started, how can it be looking after under empires around Africa all the way to Ethiopia? So it has been in existence for a very long. I was muted.
Sorry, that was a mistake. Sorry. My apologies. Sorry.
Okay. So it's just to confirm what Enoho said about the way we governed ourselves. You know. Enoho, are you back?
Yes, I
Okay.
am. Come, I'm back.
Another thing I'm gonna say here now, because this is the second time this particular document has been mentioned, and then we did a research, and it took us to Oxford. Is that Oxford?
Yeah, Oxford Law University.
Oxford Law
yes.
University, and we wanted to
Yes.
get it from there. Then they said we have to go through library and all that. So for this reason now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a deep research and get someone to get me that document so that we actually see what is inside. So I will get that document.
That would be very, very good if you can get it, because I tried, but I keep getting a brick wall, and somebody has to like sign a shorty, and I'm wondering why you would keep such an important document that has a history of a people, and it's not public knowledge. I mean, every other document is out there, all the treaties they signed with different people, but the treaty itself that was signed with the central government, or as they claimed, is not there. And then the next thing is amalgamation, 1914, which is totally, as far as I'm concerned, a crime. It is a full crime. You cannot have a treaty which has evidence of the treaty, and then tomorrow you amalgamate a country with different people. Because if you look at the three countries, as far as I'm concerned, it was three nations that was amalgamated: the northern people, the Hausas, and all that. You will find out that these are actually three nations, different nations that came together. Until tomorrow, we are having this issue. When it was just us, we knew our boundaries, we knew our mode of operandum, we knew how we worked with each other, we knew everything we did together. But now, this so-called amalgamation overran the treaty that was signed with a nation, an existing nation that had different nations under one banner. And today, nobody is talking about it, and they are making it look like it's a crime that we are. I mean, you broke your treaty. So if I decide to protect myself with weapons, and I am so much right to do so, because you have gone back and changed narrative. You have gone back and gone back on what we signed. It's totally wrong. And I think we should actually look into it, because it's going to change that narrative that people believe that Biafra just started in 1967 and all that. Because of your lies, you are covering up evidence. You have killed 6 million people. 6 million. Until tomorrow, you are still telling us that wasn't a genocidal war, when we all know it was. It was. If people said we're not going to be a part of this treaty, this contraption you did, by the way, that was illegal, and you went along and killed 6 million of them, and everybody is just pretending like it didn't happen. Thank you very much. I'll be very grateful if you can help us get that document. I think it's
Let me say something, please.
Okay, sure.
There was something you said while you was making this your last submission. When the terrorists, the best of the kind terrorists, came into our land, they signed a treaty, even though our forefathers didn't really understand the language of that document. But one thing I knew they understood was the British should never include them in any union, because our forefathers understood that we were different people and we knew our boundaries, we respected our boundaries. And that's why, even though in those days, when our forefathers went to war, they go there, conquer the enemies. They don't take their land. They leave their land and they return back to their land. So this is common sense. So if the colonial criminals, the terrorists, signed a treaty with us, and at the end of the day, they broke that treaty and decided to join us in what you have as today as their company called Nigeria. So automatically, They were the one who were the aggressor. They were the one who started anarchy. So whatever that we are doing today, or whatever our prime minister is doing today, or whatever the BLA, the BDF, or the people of Biafra are doing today to defend themselves and push out the invader, it is justified under international law. These people think that we are foolish, but they don't know that we will use that their same ignorance, that they think that they are being smart, to defeat them. Thank you. I think Emeka Socrates is the next. Please use 3 minutes. Ask your question. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you very much, Professor Enoho. I'm really very, very grateful to you for this. Going back from the beginning, I could see the map that stretches all the way to Congo, and I remember 10 years ago, I met a Congolese, and he was saying, if I look at him, that you will call him a maker, that he actually looks like one Igbo guy. That's what he mentioned, and we were all together. We all laughed at it. Again, there was a meeting, I think it was about celebrities and all that. Another Congolese guy still said the same thing. Now, seeing this map, of course, it proves everything that these guys have been saying to be correct. So, and you just gone through it very, very well. From that map, you could see that it was changed by the gerrymandering they did in Munich in 1864. That changed that map that went all the way to Congo, that went through almost to Angola. So that is very, very correct and very nice for us to note. And then, of course, you also traced how we came to 1967. And that is very, very excellent, because people have been talking about 1967, and I've been saying that that is not Biafra. As for Ojukwu and Opigo, yes, you know, Ojukwu himself, he read history. Actually, the first degree was in history, if you check. So relating very well with what Opigo told him was quite easy for him to know that we were all Biafran. That was our name. Now, my question to you is, Professor, you know these things happen by programming. You know we were programmed. You have even said it yourself, that people had to take time to adjust to being called Nigerians. You know, it was something that they had to use jingles and all that to sink into them. So programming is very, very good. It works. We have seen that it works because it has worked in many of our people. Even our youths these days don't have common sense again because they have been programmed this way. How can we change this program? I am thinking that if not, I will DM you. I want you to give me a chronicle of all the places to find this thing. Even if we make pamphlets and start sharing to those in the particularly high institutions, start programming now. We need to reprogram that thing. We need to reprogram the brains of these generations coming. It might look like, oh, it's impossible. But since they have been able to program us for 50 years and our youth have become stupid, if we start today to program, we can change something. Please, I need that. And don't you think really that maybe we should find a way of inserting this somehow in the curriculum? And if we cannot do it, can we just get a pamphlet made up of this very vital sequence of changes that has happened, and our people will start, our youth will start to know, because they are completely ignorant. That's why they are talking about one Nigeria. If they knew this, it will work. So how do you think we can reprogram this? That's what I'm asking you, Professor. How can you help?
Thank you very much, Emeka Secretaries. I like that particular question you asked. You see, the problem is, if you are computer friendly, when you have a program that is infected with virus, it's two things. It's either you
Yes,
run
it's a
a
malware.
proper check. Yes, good.
Yes.
You run a check on it to see, okay, is it something that can be salvaged? Is it something that you need to just, delete and done? Most times, in a case like this particular time, I think the best thing is to format it. We just have to find a way to format every system that has carried that ideology. And that, like you said, would happen with aggressive pushing. If possible, if the bridging government has to create some kind of, I don't know, often, lectures or everything that can lay our hands, jingles, even as far as what's it called, skits, all these things to make people understand It has to be institutionalized that it is mandatory for us to go back into history. Because one of the things that was done was, after they did this, they are evil, they gradually removed history. And now what they introduced was civilization in a kind of historical manner that only teaches you what they have already cooked up. So the only thing you are allowed is what they want you to know. And what they want you to know is the kind of system that they have programmed already for you. Look at the youths. Everybody is running up and down, doing all kinds of rubbish. Nobody has time to actually research. If you go online and check statistics of the places people go more online, you find out that most people go, they spend more time on Twitter and TikTok, but it is the content they spend time on that's what matters. The contents are not things that you would want to put your mind into. But whereas when they have time to do this, their rubbish, they took time. Throughout years in school, when we're growing up as kids, they made us recite so many things, all in the name of education. You recited so many things, and as the more you recite those things, the more it sinks into your subconscious and your mind. So when you hear certain things, it looks like you are speaking gibberish. Imagine somebody saying that Biafra started in 1967 and it's only for 3 years. But yet, in the same system, you have the Roman Empire, you have the Greek Empire. They still have countries to today. So what happened to the Biafran system? If the Roman Empire, that everybody knows, is an open knowledge that they dissolved into little bits, but till tomorrow you have a place called Rome. The Greek Empire was overrun by the Roman Empire, but today you have a place called Greece. But what happened to Biafra? Biafra has been existing God knows how long, as far as I'm concerned. It only came to the map from the 12th centuries, because that was when they started writing maps. It was the Romans that wrote the first map, or rather the Greeks. They wrote the first map and gave the map and said, this is the map of the world. Well, we don't know how they got their map, but they shall give us a map. And when they gave us a map, Biafra was written there in capital letter. So how come all this while you don't have, the only thing that comes to your mind when you see Biafra is 1967 genocide, or 1967? In fact, they changed it from Biafran war to civil war, which, as far as I'm concerned, is rubbish. It should be stated what it is. So if, yes, for things like this to happen, if the government has to put it mandatory, inculcate it into people's mind, it should be in it. We have to go every length, every aspect. If it's flyers, you want to do jingles, thank God, the what's it called, nobody's going to attack you for doing jingles. Do jingles, do skits, do whatever we can do. Put it out there.
Professor.
Let the truth be heard. Thank you.
Yeah, the thing is, I think for now, the most important thing is the suffering in that contraption is good enough reason for people to ask themselves questions, and the reason for people to want to leave. Because trust me, even hellfire is better than the zoo right now. So, but other Biafrans, most especially those on the media, you can create this jingle and let us make it go viral so that I can raise the consciousness of our people. And one thing I want us to understand, when they say they gave you education, they gave you a runway, and that runway is within a circus. You can only learn to a certain degree. You cannot go over this degree. So what does that do? It limits your knowledge. And in that education, it becomes worse when they now say they are giving you Western education. Because they now make the education in such a way that, they now make that runway in such a way that you will only learn what those who committed atrocities against your forefather, they will only let you know what they want you to know. They will not want you to know that which happened before they created that education, which is that runway that everybody is operating on. Ask yourself a question. If these people never came in, some of us will not even know what the word English language is. Some of us will not even know what Christianity is. Some of us will not even know what Islam is. Because we are a people who understand law of nature, natural laws. And so long as our forefathers prove it to be what the best, we will continue. But this education, these colonial vandals, they came and they disrupted that. That's why today we are facing what we are facing. So Biafra is going to change everything. We're going to have our own system of schooling so that we can learn and learn the right way. I want to give the mic, please. Okay, let me give the mic to Phoenix Rain. Phoenix Rain, please. Take 3 minutes and make your submission or ask your question. Thank you. Phoenix Rain, are you there? Phoenix Rain. All right, okay, Mouthpiece, please. Mouthpiece, please take the mic.
Hello, thank you so much, my people. I'm at work, but I am loving what I'm hearing on space. I greet you, Chukwumereze. Every time when I want to call you, I call Chukwumereze. Thank you for hosting us, my wonderful sister Enaho. Thank you, our historian. And I want to thank each and every one of you here on space. I don't want to call names. Who's muting me?
Sorry, I mistakenly pressed
You
the
guys,
mute button. My dashboard.
you guys have. What are you guys?
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I bet
Okay.
they don't call me. Have I been called?
No.
I couldn't hear anything again.
Hold on.
All protocols observed by people. Okay, so you see, it is. I think that we have to go back. In fact, our people have, most especially the youths, we have to go back and read things fall apart because it has a lot of our traditions, everything about how we all broke apart. So I think if you can read and read meanings into the underlying words of Chinua Achebe, then you will understand where we're coming from. So, and another thing is, you guys just go and look at our Prime Minister's our Prime Minister's page where where that let me just go there. Let me just read it from there. I think that will be better. So where they said Vanguard said federal government told to return Nigeria to 1960-63 regional autonomy or risk total collapse. And I tell you guys, it is because of what we are doing, and they know that we mean business to exit Nigeria, and we are living, and we mean it. So whatever they are doing, if our brothers and sisters, the Godomigodos, the Ekas, the Igbos, the Akwa Iboms, the Shekiris, all of you, if you know yourself now, just enter the ship. We are moving, we are going home. So I just want to throw that one in there, just for our people to understand that this our history that Chukwumereze and Enoho are teaching us today. Look, it is our history, and we have to really join and make sure that we go back home, support our Prime Minister, and do the needful. Contribute for your freedom, because we must go home, no matter what they want to do. So we are not going back to regional or whatever. We want to exit that contraption. We were never in any agreement with the British to be in that contraption. So we will, in fact, the moment Biafra is redeclared, in fact, there are a lot of people who I don't even know that are from other countries that are telling me they are Biafrans. In fact, there's a lot to talk about. It's just that I'm at work. I will just call out some of the people that I've met that told me they are Biafrans, even outside that so-called Nigeria. I'm telling you the truth. I think they are from Eritrea. This guy is from Eritrea. He was telling me that they are Biafrans. So I just don't know. So please, let's keep doing the needful and educating our people. And I think another thing we have to add is, the moment Biafra is redeclared is counseling our youths. At least we start from when they are in primary school. Start again counseling our people, bringing them back, because a lot has been dealt. A lot have been done against Biafrans. Thank you, my wonderful brothers and sisters. Let me yield the mic now. I'll still be on speaker on the mic, so please don't take me down. Thank you.
Thank you, our sister mouthpiece of the gods. Thank you so much. Phoenix Rain, I'm going to call you one more time. Take the mic. Phoenix Rain.
Yeah. Am I coming out clear?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Please, this question is to the host. If I don't know about what Bergie is doing, and I don't know much about Biafra, then I come out to speak like Alvin. Would you educate me or gag me and provoke me and force me to leave? Which one, please?
I will answer your question. So, what is your question?
My question is, I don't like the way you address Alvin, because from what I see, I've met Alvin in so many spaces and he has defended Biafra so much. The way you gagged him, you did not allow him to learn, so you can educate him and let him know that, see, Beji is doing something to cover all the coastal line, but you forced him to leave. I don't think it is fair. You should have educated him and let him know what we have been doing and how we should have followed the PM. Please, sir, I would advise you and all other Biafrans, we should stop being hostile to people who do not know about us. There are so many people that are still coming up. I have been in the struggle since 2014. There are people that joined to 2021, 2022, 2023 that did not know much. If we continue to gag people like this, they may not like it and they may think we are hostile.
The thing is, there's a space going on. The space has a host and a co-host. And I did not gag him, but he made me do that to him because I was trying to guide him. Let me make my own submission while he was talking. And he kept talking over and he got upset. So I'm not going to let that fly here, I beg. Adibin, he waited. When I'm done, he went ahead then. He would have continued. So do you have a question?
No, I don't have. I just came to let us know that we have to accommodate those that are still coming in.
Okay, let
Thank
me
you.
ask you a question. You have been in this struggle since 2014. What have you been doing for Biafra? Or what have you
I
contributed
beg.
for Biafra?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Do you know how many times I had to change my location because of this movement? Do you know how many people I have stepped on? I have to change my account because of propagating the gospel. Do you know the contribution I also make? Phoenix Rain has never been my original account.
Okay. So do you have
Thank you. And I've worked for a popular broadcaster in this struggle. I've worked as a media team with him. Emmanuel Remedios. You all know Emmanuel Remedios.
Anyway, thank you for what you are doing for Biafra. Wherever you are, continue to do more. Don't stop until we get Biafra. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sir Williams, take the mic, please. Sir Williams, are you there? Please take the mic.
No, Sir Williams. Brian Williams.
Sorry, Brian Williams. Sorry, take the mic.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Here present, the host, the co-host, the ministers here in the house, all protocol duly observed. I love the topic because this is a topic I have delved into, trying to find my way, but it's highly classified, and you cannot have access to it except by state. There is nothing you can do, no matter how the level of education, professorship, or whatever. You can never have access to that. It is highly classified. And when Biafra comes, Biafra will demand for everything, and it will be gladly given to them because it's not state-to-state affairs. But that notwithstanding, I want to throw more light on this topic because, first of all, I will start by stating or letting people know when British came into the empire, the Igbo Empire, because why we use the Igbo is an ethnic group, and in any ethnic group, you have different types of tribes. So that word Igbo, yeah, is an umbrella with different, or you can call it a tree with different branches that have different, those branches are the tribes that made up it. So I want to start from there. These people came in 1802, British. And before the British came in 1802, there have been vagabonds wandering around the world, looking for people to conquer, subdue, steal from. And before that, the Portuguese were in our land. And the Portuguese were trading fine based on the trade agreement, exchange, or you can call it trade by pattern. And with these people out of greed, they saw what it is and how lucrative the dominant the market has become through this the steel, the bronze and metals. For those times, it was the present crude oil, the gold mine trade, the present one. When I just use that to tell you how the steel, metal, bronze market was then, and it was coming from our land. So what did they do? They need to push Portuguese out of it. And when they did that, so I will go straight to, I just want to be taking one by one. I will go straight to submission made by Enoho. The problem is this.
Please, sir, you have only 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, we have only, I know, just let me land. We have only one person standing and he has spoken before, please. There is a problem they call direct and indirect route. So in Igbo land, we call it Biafra. We are basically the direct route, not the indirect. So when these people landed, they first landed, they were the Hausas and the Yorubas, where the indirect route was existing. Their people were like, their people were so submissive to their kings and they don't have mouth. But in our land, like Enohu stated, it is family, kingship, leaders from there to the kingsmen to Omona, this circle. So that's how it is. So what is so when the Romans found this very difficult, they could not. So that treaty, from what I searched many years ago, is basically on the trade. Trade is among it. Trade is among it, but they breached that trade. They breached the trade by trying to define the trade, trying to define the price. Even when they define the price, they tried to cheat. So that was when the first war broke out that lasted 30-something years before the amalgamation. So you all compare so it's just like the greed in the Romans that led them conquer Greeks. And one thing about these people is when they don't keep to the treaty, and they are the one. There's this word they say that if you're in Roma, you behave like Roma. But these people come to your land. Like for example, they will be in Igbo land and still behave. They will be Romans in Igbo land. They go to United States, be Romans in United States. They will go to Australia, be Romans in Australia. Instead of living according to the law of the people of the land, obeying it, no, they don't want to. They want to state their power. They want to show dominance. So to our people, we say no. We are not to be slaved. We are not answerable to anybody, and we cannot give all our sweat to people like that for them to decide what we gain and what we have to receive from the trade and the rest. So that is where the first problem broke out, and till today. Secondly, I will go to what again they said about the how to open the brain of our people. Understand? Right now, the people of the people are in hunger, and when somebody is in hunger, he doesn't listen on. There's no word he preach that you even enter, even if it's biblically. It's biblically when Christ said that if you go to preach and they're hungry, first feed them before you preach the gospel. It's just like what is happening down to our people now. Their brain has been saturated and filled with the quest of what will benefit their stomach first, and not about the history. So this is why when our government comes, we will go back getting all these classified documents to educate people again. They tell them, let them know who they are and what they have lost. That is all I believe. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brian Williams, for that wonderful submission. Amuche, are you there? You want to say something? Even if for 30 seconds. Amuche, are you there? Okay. Wait. Ebe Berugo, are you? You want to talk?
Yes.
All right.
Good afternoon, everybody. Um, First of all, to the host, the guy that left, it didn't go down well with me. First, the topic you guys
Please, can we
put
not talk
on
about the guy that left? If you have a question, ask your question. I already addressed this. If he wants to come back, let him come back. Please, if you have a question, go ahead. Why are you deviating us from the topic?
is not debating. We are freedom fighters. We are fighting for our
Okay,
freedom.
so ask your question and forget about the guy. If he comes back, I will give him the mic. Please.
Fine. The topic is a good one, and it is a topic that would have united both those that believe and those that not yet believe together, and it will make them to believe, because it's not everybody know about this secret, so to say, that the name Biafra even existed since 1827. Many of us that is in Nigeria here, like me, I don't know this before. So we all think that the name Biafra came before the war, that Ojukwu and the rest come up with the name. And this secret made it so even people that don't really want to join the Biafra to have it in mind that that name Biafra, it didn't even start during the war, but even far, far, far away before the war. So it's a topic that you handle it and explain it very well. It will draw souls, many other souls, like each and every one of us that is here. It just from one topic to the other like this that convince each and every one of us. So it is this kind of topic that convince people that have a doubt before of that name Biafra, of the freedom of Biafra, that the Nigerian government with all their lies that made to believe that Biafra is just concocted by Igbos. But coming to know, having the awareness that this name Biafra have been there since 1827. When you get to have the story firsthand and learn out of it, it will change your mindset. It will change the person mindset of Biafra. It will change person mindset of the story that we had against Biafra. Just like today, as I'm speaking to you today, I still have a encounter with our brothers in Cross Rivers during my course of work. So the wife was like, we are not Igbo. We are discussing something, and they said, and I told them that all of us are Igbos. So the wife said they are not Igbos, and then the husband also had to counter the wife, said what I'm saying is true and all that. But it's because of the story. The wife may have a different story that make her believe that. But it's because the husband has an awareness of another story, another thinking story that made him to convince that yes, we are all one. So it's by this kind of revelation that brings people together, bring those that disagree to agree. So that's why I wanted to. If you notice, we have been bringing up more than how many times, because the network is really disturbing me. Each time I come to speak, and then the team will kick more. So I wanted to say the email before the first person that I called to your notice about that. You allow anybody to speak as you want to speak. After the person done, you will have patience and give those that not Biafran, that not in the struggle, more space, more time to speak, to say their mind, to say where they misunderstood. Then it correct the person. Don't cut the mic on them. Allow them to speak. In a space, in a Biafra space before you open this, that I made a kind of submission of the same people that I counted in another space, just lamenting. Though the guy said that he doesn't believe in Biafra, but he also supporting Biafra, that he like the way, the courage that Biafra has. So it takes a lot of courage, especially those that are living in Nigeria. I know you guys outside contribute a lot, you spend money, but you can't compare money with the life of people in the Nigeria. Those that are using their blood for the sacrifice of Biafra. Money cannot be compared to them. It doesn't matter how much you put in this struggle. You cannot compare it with the life of people. So anybody in Nigeria want to speak, whether believe or not, allow the person. Then try you. That's when you come in with your own awareness, with your intelligence, with your knowledge that you have acquired, to make him or her understand, to guide his path. Then the lie, a lot of lie we have had in this country, Nigeria. Then that awareness that you have as a traveler, then you bring it, you bring in and try to educate the person. Like this topic, if you handle it very well, there will be many souls that will be won. Let me use the word of Christians. There will be many souls that will be won through this topic. Please, try as much as possible. No matter how the person speak, allow the person. Let the person pour out his or her mind. And after that, then you can now gradually, if you still don't want to understand, allow the person to go. But please, don't cut them short. Thank you. Keep on the good work, my brother. It is freedom. It's not easy. And everybody cannot come at once. Like me that I'm talking to you. In 2015, I came to understand about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu through prophecy, not through anybody. Before the 2015 election, My pastor, he made a prophecy that this election that is coming, that God is going to allow Buhari to win the election, but he will use another person, which is Nnamdi Kanu, to guide him for the evil agenda he had in this country. And after he said that finish, I start searching about Nnamdi Kanu in the Facebook. Then when I get him, I start listening to him. I started speaking and commenting in 2021 after his kidnap. After his kidnap, like 2 days, I didn't see any of the DOS, any of them that made a speech about it. I was wondering. I was running from one post to another, one page to another, one list to another, and I couldn't find any. I said, how can a whole man like Nnamdi Kanu, the commander of ESN, being kidnapped and nobody's talking about it? Till our PM pick up the mic. After he might have waited for the so-called the leadership, the DOS, to speak and they couldn't speak. Then he picked up the mic and started talking. I began to follow him. So it is one place to the other. It comes gradually. Don't just. It's something that sparked the light on the heart of every man. Like me, it was prophet that sparked the light on my heart before I started following. And I cannot say that I don't have enough money to feed myself in Nigeria, talk less of to contribute. So I'm telling you the factual truth. I didn't contribute, but it is only with my own mouth, only with my own mouth now, and that I am trying. I'm
My
trying.
brother,
Yes.
I want you to understand something.
Yes.
You see, we are all Biafrans, and within Biafran, we have what is division of labor. Please, can you mute your mic? Because it seems like there's noise in your background, please. So, if it is important to fund the government, yes, but at the end of the day, every Biafran has a say in Biafran, and you might feel like you're not contributing, maybe because you don't have the money to contribute, but I'm sure if you're a genuine Biafran at heart, there's something that you are doing that's also contributing to the government. Those in the diaspora who find themselves in the diaspora should be able to fund the struggle. You in the homeland, the least you can do is show the world that the Prime Minister has the support of the people in homeland by listening to the instructions and also voting in the referendum. While we have our brothers and sisters who are in our bushes fighting to defend Biafra land, we have the de facto government in homeland who is ensuring that there is a connection and a cohesion between the people in homeland and the Briggy, the government in exile. So everything that is going on right now, everybody's contributing in one way or the other. And I want to also use this medium to say that, yeah, about 3 people has inboxed me. So maybe definitely that means the way I reacted to the guy that I kicked out earlier wasn't the right way. But if he is here, please, he can come back and I'll give him the mic. Maybe I misunderstood you. So on this note, I will say I apologize. But if Elvin is here, you can come back, take the mic. But the thing I don't want is if I address a certain situation, please let's not go back to it. Let's move forward. There's so many things to talk about Biafra. And the last thing I want on this space is for us to be talking about what has happened. You understand? Maybe due to misunderstanding. So please let's move forward. I don't know. The last speaker, do you have something to say?
Okay. Thank
Just
you.
just round
And
up in 30 seconds, please.
all right. Emma, there's a day that said, Emma, why can't be able.
Mm.
So, it is nice that you apologize. You know, when it comes to adults, you don't tell adult to keep quiet. You can only tell a kid to keep quiet, and he will keep quiet. But if you don't allow the adult to speak and air his or her view, he can't get a peace. Even if he decided to keep quiet, there will be a kind of malice in between. So he's not keeping quiet because he has agreed or he like what you said, but because okay, maybe you feel like okay, you have upper hand, it will just ignore you, allow you to go. But in between, it has there's a malice being being established at that moment. So it is good, it is fine and good, and also well done for apologize to the person, and if you will be listening, you will also it will come. Even if it don't come today, it will come next time. Thank you for that, and keep on the good work. Keep on the good work. All hail Biafra.
Thank you so much, brother. I believe like it is one courage to take a step to apologize to somebody, whether you wrong them intentionally or not intentionally. It is another even bigger courage to do it in front of the public, most especially in the midst of Biafra. So that's to go to show that I've humbled myself and I apologize sincerely to him. So if he's here, he can come back. At the end of the day, whatever he's facing is what I'm facing. We are all facing the same thing. Nobody's happy the way things are in Biafra land. And that's why sometimes we are quick to overreact when somebody or anybody, most especially those who's not a Biafran, started talking or start saying things that we find or deem misunderstanding. But anyway, I believe if he's here, like I say once again, making no vex. He can come back and make his submission. So on this note, I want to give United States. Please, United States, take the mic.
Thank you very much. Please, you read my mind because I just have a very limited time to speak. You know, am I coming out?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are. Yes,
Oh,
you are.
okay. Oh, okay. Our sister, I know who. That's your voice, right?
Yes.
But I'm not seeing your account. It's like you're using a different account. I'm not seeing your account.
No, it's a different. It's the same account. I just changed my profile picture.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, and good afternoon, everybody. Mazi Chuku Beze. Great, and Dalolo. Dalolo ihe unu na-eme, biko. O nwere inu ndị Igbo otu a sị na onye nọ n'ụlọ nọtara onye nọ n'ezi, onye nọ n'ezi nọtara onye nọ n'ụlọ. Ekere ọrụ eke. So the only thing is onye ọbụla na-arụ nke ọ na-arụ, whatever you're doing, make sure you are doing it well to the best of your ability. Continue to put your work. Like for example, myself, like my case is almost similar to his case, but the only thing is this: I said myself. I promised myself I'm going to give Biafra at least 1,500 votes, and I've delivered it already. So, and I am doing more. So, anything, speaking to people, helping people, convincing them in the homeland, explaining to them. Even a lot of people who believe in Biafra, they have misunderstanding about Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa and what he stands for, because of a lot of lies told by the other side, because they have the access to the radio Biafra, which a lot of our people in the homeland listen. So they use it as a medium to now begin to uh, spread this information against our prime minister. But as many as I encounter, I try to tell them, explain to them that this is the real guy. This is the person actually is the reason that our leader Mazen Namde Kanu's name is being, spoken, and he's the only person genuinely fighting for Biafra. So, and I know how many people have been able to convince and continue to enlighten the people. So that is what the work that the people can do. Those things are helping. So you just do anything that you can So that is it. And that's one thing I love about Biafra and where we are right now. We're no longer a group, it's a government. So when you're doing it, you are now as a citizen, and you are doing everything you can to, to see the progress of your country. If you have knowledge, let that knowledge be used in advantage for the advantage of Biafra. If you have money, let it be used for the advantage of Biafra. If you have contacts, people that you can speak to who can, help our government in one way or the other. You have, you, there are people who are using their contacts, whatever it is it your knowledge, is it your training, is it or your intellectual ability, is it your professionalism? You put it as a gift. Is it you are strong, like our men who are strong, who can carry the weapon, and they are making that sacrifice. So the important thing is that whatever you're doing, that the Biafra must be in the center stage, must be Biafra first. So thank you very much, and I appreciate this topic that you have here today, the topic on told stories of Biafra, because I've taken my time. The first time I realized this topic, this treaty, was during the time of Bruce Fine, when he was actually working with our leader Mazen and Dekan, and I saw he posted something like that, and I actually went and I checked it up. And if you go to Oxford University, their online encyclopedia, you see this, the evidence of that actually Biafra had two different treaties with the Britain, I mean British authority. So that's at 1827 century, 1827. Okay, and that was 18th century. And even before that, we also see that there is a Biafra in the map. I think it's the 16th century map. I think even a map that was before that time. So as at that time, even I don't think there is any even Britain is not even in that map. The was at that time. So you see, there were a lot of lies that were told to. Some people think that the name Biafra just came in the event of Declaration of Republic of Biafra in 1966 by Ojukwu. No, when Michael Pigo actually proclaimed, reminded our leader, our eternal leader about Biafra, he was just saying that they were thinking, what name are we going to call this republic that we want to declare? And he said, why not we go back to who we were before? So he was suggesting, say, okay, why are we thinking about a new thing when we already had our who we are? It's just like when we were our currency committee, we were thinking of what is the name of the currency we are going to use. And then we remember we had a currency, a gemma had been our currency, just like how we reenacted a gemma. It's not that we are inventing a new. So it was like, why would you want to reinvent the wheel? Why we already had an identity that we have. We can just continue with the whole identity. So it wasn't as if they brought Biafra in 1967. But that is the story that the enemy wants to tell. That's why they want to, because they had an agenda of alienating our people, and they, making some of our people think that this thing is being imposed. No, it is the identity. And in fact, the name, the Biafra, even extends beyond the territory of the current Nigeria. If you check that map of the 15th century map, you see that even it covers even the current Amazonia and some other parts. So, in a way, but it's just it is very important that some of these things are being unraveled so that people will understand that this is who we are, this is our identity, and you know one of the ways for someone to recover when you want to recover is that first of all you have to discover who you are. So and it's part of this discovering who you are, because when you know who you are, then you can be able to fight for identity. And that is when you earn your respect. You can't expect to be respected when you don't know your identity. So it's one of the reasons. So and even when you compare things now, you see that now Biafrans are beginning to, regain our respect now because now we found our identity. So and it feels good that you have
Please, Mazi, can you come close to your mic? It seems like you're far from.
Okay. Oh, am I coming clearer now?
Yes, better.
Okay, so I'm saying that it is good that we need to be having all these revelations and all these expositions so that we can discover who we are, our identity, and embrace our identity. And that is the only way we can actually be able to reach our maximum potentials. So this knowledge will help us, people, to understand that in this strange entity called Nigeria and everything that has come with it, we can never assume our maximum potential. So our maximum potential can only be achieved and in when we embrace our identity, which is Biafra. Thank you very much. Like I said, I have limited chance to speak, but it's always a pleasure to be here and to have these interactions. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak, and I yield my mic here. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, United States. Everything you said is well spot on. I want our people to know that Nigeria is the reason why every black or every melanated skin people all over the world is suffering what they are suffering today. Because even the British that created Nigeria, they did it for a purpose. Because, these colonial vandals, these colonial, as a matter of fact, the British, to me, they are the one who took the craftsmanship of terrorism to the highest level. They refined terrorism. Whether you like it or not, the British Crown is a terrorist. The British Navy is a terrorist. The British Royal Air Force is a terrorist. The British Royal Army is a terrorist. Even their parliament is a terrorist. Everything about them is a terrorist. Out of about 190 something nations, these people have invaded over 170 something nations. And everywhere they go, you see the scar of the British there. Before Nigeria was formed, even after they broke all those treaties, the reason why they formed Nigeria is number one, despite the Berlin Conference, because that Berlin Conference was to create peace and unity and an environment for these imperialists, these colonial vandals to work together. After that Berlin Conference was sorted out, the next thing that the British thought about is, we are not just okay with these powers, we need more power. Even if we cannot be there, but we can have something. Indirectly, we can use it to influence Africa. Because the First World War was fought because of Africa. The Second World War was fought because of Africa. Even the Third World War, if it's going to happen, it's going to be because of Africa. And whether you like it or not, we are very close to that Third World War. But the only thing that will stop it is Biafra. The British people sat down in their United Kingdom and said, let us create a very huge black nation. And through that nation, not only are we going to be able to acquire massive resources, but also through that nation, we will use it to influence every other part of African country. So they sat down together, gave you that name, Nigeria. I always ask my people, before you defend Nigeria, you need to ask yourself, what is the meaning of Nigeria? The etymology of that word, Nigeria. Nigeria, you can say, came from two words. And you see, they thought they were so smart by getting the prefix and the suffix of that word Nigeria from France and Latin. Because nigger in France is means Niger. Niger in France means Niger. Then area in French, in Latin means geographical location. So when you look at it, you put that word together, you will see that it is just, in all actuality, the meaning is a geographical location inhabited by a group of niggers, which is a racist meaning. And that is why Nigeria has continued to be the way it is. They didn't even stop there. They went ahead by perfecting stooges, perfecting warrant chiefs that will continue to work for them. And when we, the Biafrans, because of our nature and because of the kind of people we are, we decided that we are not going to let this fly. We're not going to happen. We started to fight. And given to the history that they've known us for, they continue to do everything to make sure that they subjugate us and they kill us and they keep us in perpetual bondage. But like I always say, you cannot stop the sun from rising. These people has created scars in our skin, in our DNA that can never be forgotten. And the only way to atone for all those things is for us to get Biafra. Because whether you like it or not, Biafra is the only solution. For so many years, everything Britain has always done is to conspire against Biafra. They even go as far as doing it in the United Nations. They make sure that Fulani, nomadic, idiotic human beings get high position in the UN. That's why before we get to where we are today, our leader, Onyindu Mazi Nnamdi Okukanu, kept writing petition to the UN. And once it gets there, of course, it is always received by a Fulani nomadic lady there. I'm trying to remember her name. And once she gets it, she throws it in the garbage. The same in ICC. The same in all over the world. Because they are scared of having another Japan in Africa. Even the Japanese you see today, the early ancestors of the Japanese came from the Igbo people. We actually becoded the Japanese race that you see today. And it's not a coincidence that they are making the waves and wonders they are doing. Imagine our offspring doing such wonder in Southeast Asia. How much more of than their real fathers, which is Biafra. You see, Biafra is going to open up a lot of truth. Biafra is going to make us realize that for so long we have just been wallowing in ignorance. A time is going to come whereby when everything is being revealed, for now, if they think that they've seen anything, then they must be out of their minds because we are just entering into that era of awakening. By the time we are like 25 years into that era, they will understand that this thing, it's not going to be a joke anymore. And it is important that this freedom we are fighting is very important because Biafra freedom and liberation is a multidimensional healing. Why did I say that? Because the coming of Biafra is going to educate, is going to make us understand the people we are. Not only that, it's going to make us relearn history. It's going to make us appreciate who we are. It's going to guarantee us freedom. It's going to guarantee us peace, unity. You understand? And to those people who are saying that, oh, the way we are going about it is not the way, ask them which other way. How can you push the enemy away from your territory? How can you push the colonial vandals away from your territory, the invaders, the terrorists? You want to restructure the zoo. If you restructure Nigeria, are you going to restructure the terrorists? Are you going to stop them from moving from one end to the other? They tell you, oh, form a political system and get Biafra through the right ways by having your senators and all those gibberish jargons, politicians parading themselves in the name of their representing Biafrans. Then I ask them a question. Why will I form a political party within a foundation that has been faulty right from the very beginning? The beginning of corruption in Nigeria started with the British. From when they first rigged that first census in order to give the Northerners higher numbers in the parliament. And through those Northerners, they're going to be able to influence the affairs of Nigeria. Aside from that, they went ahead telling the Northerners that it is better you are in Nigeria than you leave. Remember, your region is poor. You don't have anything. You don't have this. You don't have that. And because of the British understand that those in the South, most especially Biafran people, are very wise and intelligent breed of humans. And they know these Northerners, they are all about vandalization, taking people's land, stealing from people and all that. And because of their own low level of intellect, the British understand that they can work with these people. Haven't you asked yourself, the British that brought us Anglican to the zoo, they are Christians like Biafrans, but yet their best friends are northern Islamic jihadists. That's why I tell you, both Islam and Christianity is no difference. They are just the same with different faces. Isn't that ironically that they tend to love the northern jihadist Muslim than we in the South, who claim to have the same values, believe more in democracy and all that thing that they claim. But these Northerners want Sharia. They even go as far as killing somebody for just mere opening their mouth to express themselves. So many things is wrong with Nigeria. The more you continue to keep Nigeria, the more you continue to validate the Berlin Conference. It's the more you continue to give these colonial invaders the power to continue to exploit you as a people. Because from their own end, they are already united. They already had their agreement. Whatever France benefits from the zoo, the imperialists, all of them have a percentage. Whatever the British benefit from the zoo, the rest of their colleagues have a percentage. And the reason why the British left the European Union was because they wanted to have all the benefits that they are stealing from Nigeria to themselves. Because when they were still in the European Union, everybody had a portion to contribute, most especially based on your GDP. But the British people understood that. They understood that, man, a lot of countries is not contributing as much as we are contributing. Why should we remain in this union whereby we are the one paying, we are paying more, and all the benefits is being enjoyed equally? So they decided to leave, so that they can have it all to themselves. When the British wanted to leave the EU, nobody killed them, nobody tried to stop them. They conducted their referendum. He failed the first time, but the second time, they had what they got. They got what they wanted, and they left. Nobody killed them, nobody stopped them, nobody said you cannot leave. Why is it when it comes to the case of Africa, they don't want us to leave? They keep on trying to hold us down. Today, World Health Organization is talking about monkeypox emergency in Africa. There's a how do they put it? There's a pandemic alert in Africa on monkeypox. But let us apply common sense in this scenario. Yeah, you have monkeypox. It can be remedied, right? at least before he kills you, it will take maybe a couple of weeks or so if you don't treat it. But what about those people in Congo that are dying instantly at the shot of one bullet? What about those in South Sudan, in North Sudan, in Somalia that are being killed at the instant of one bomb or one bullet being shot to them? Is that not an emergency? Is that not even a far more pandemic than the so-called monkeypox? Monkeypox has been existing for how many decades? And with all the technology and all the advancements in medicine, they don't have a cure for it. Come on, my people, let us think. It is because those who are providing solutions for you don't have your interests. They call you equal partner. They claim that, oh, just as how the British say, oh, Nigeria and Britain is equal partner, their partnership can never be disrupted, all these jargons and all this bullshit they keep saying. But yet, you don't have visa free to go to their country. When you go to their country, they make life hell for you. Aside from the fact you face racism, you will have to do menial jobs before you even have your legal document. Sometimes you are even forced to marry somebody twice as your age just to get your papers. Aside from that, you know how many millions of Nigerians that queue at their embassy to apply for their visa? Each of those people pay visa application fee. Do you know how many millions they make every month from you Nigerians? They use it to service the embassy. But yet, everything that make these colonial refined terrorists what they are today come from your land. They dictate the prices of your natural resources. If oil is supposed to be sold for $100 per barrel in the international market, the type of partnership they have with their stooges in the zoo is that they will be buying it. They will be buying it for $20 per barrel. That is the type of partnership they claim that they are with you. But anyway, let me let my co-host say something because it seems like she wants to leave. Professor, please make your submission before you leave.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Chukwumeze. Thank you very much. I really don't want to say anything much. I just wanted to say that I have posted the link to the other treaties in the comments section, and I would employ us to read and research because, like I said, it's a back and forth thing. We all have to, work towards getting this Biafra because Biafra is, well, in fact, I should stop using that word getting Biafra because Biafra is already existing, it's already ours. It's just that some people are trying to cover up a crime that was committed and do not want this crime to be judged. But I am happy that all these documents are out there and we'll find a way to get these documents because this, like my brother said earlier, this document would actually help prove to people and change that narrative that Biafra is some kind of Igbo, cultural thing. It is beyond that. This is a confederacy of people, of nations together coming to rule themselves under law and justice. And if we allow things like this get hidden and lost, we don't have a future. We won't have a future because all these things are the evidence of the crime committed not today, hundreds of years, hundreds. And it will teach us for the future not to trust certain people because I can understand that after a long time of back and forth wars, that was why we actually decided to sit down, not even trustworthy in the first place. Because I can assure you, they had it at the back of their mind what they wanted. If you read through all these treaties, I spent the whole night reading two different treaties, the ones with the Benin people, the ones with Oyo, all these people. You will find out that they started bringing all these things when things started changing for them. You know, they came into our region, saw a vast land. You can imagine that they went to war because of palm oil. Palm oil, the one that they sell cheap in your neighborhood, palm oil. That is why these people went to war, trying to colonize you because of palm oil and other things. Much is in our land because we don't even have access to those things. We don't even know the treaty they signed with the so-called people who are so-called the Nigerians that they signed this treaty with. Because as far as I'm concerned, they will not come out fully, especially when they know that they are in fault, as in they are the one at fault. Going back on a written document and at the same time trying to hide that document from people that is supposed to be a public document. Go and look at the Declaration of Independence of the United States. Even as far as the treaty they signed with the so-called United States, it is a public document. You can get access to it. How come you cannot get access to this one? So it means there is actually something that they are not letting us know and they don't want us to know. Because Biafra is beyond just what they are trying to
Sorry,
paint
and
it as.
sorry for interjecting. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can hear you.
It is now that I got to understand why they started the propaganda that our red oil is not good for the body and all that. I think like 20 years ago,
Yeah.
when 20 years ago when
Yes, they started with.
yeah, when I stayed in London, so I was hearing that. I was hearing it that time, and then at the same time, when I got here, they now started saying that they are now that the red oil from here, that the red oil is a nutritious oil, is good for you. You know, it has a lot of
That's what they do. That's what they do.
yeah.
They made up stories telling you that palm oil will cause you high cholesterol and all that, and made us start eating things that were not healthy. And now today they tell you 1 teaspoon of palm oil gives you the best kind of system. You know, they did all these things intentionally to drive us to a certain point where our mind is totally controlled by them. And it worked. It worked. That's the truth. It worked because they were the ones who colonized us. They were the ones who had access to our residents. And colonization, let nobody deceive you, wasn't let's sit down and have a conversation over tea and biscuits. It was
Yes,
bloody.
because when they were teaching us,
It was bloody.
yeah, because when they were teaching us the food and nutrition in the UK, they were telling us that, you know, that red oil is no good, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, it's not true, because I was born and
You
bred
know,
where.
they were exporting, the things they were exporting were things like cotton, sugarcane, cassava. And in fact, they had a stupid narrative that it was the Portuguese that gave us cassava and yams. And I asked them if they were the ones that gave us yams. So are they the ones that brought Ife-Ijoku that we used to do New Yam Festival? Because I don't understand all these people. They just come right up all kinds of things, pollute your mind and begin to, you know, teach that over years with different narratives, and before you know what is happening, you're believing these things. So I would implore everybody here, please, if you can get those documents, get it out. Let's push. Let's get it out because it will help a whole lot. Knowing the genesis of why these people are doing what they are doing, why they don't want you to have access to your files, why you have to go through so much protocols to have access to your own document. It's supposed to be a public document, for crying out loud.
The same
I would
thing they
have
said
to leave
about
now
the same thing.
because I.
Okay, the same thing they said about Indian hemp, and that they said it's no good. And then after a while, now it's you have to have medical marijuana Oh my goodness, I don't even know. And they're still arresting people who smoke it, although it's supposed to be smoked, you must have your the quantity you have to smoke, but they have medical marijuana here for pain and all that, Anyway, please go on and sign up, my sister.
Oh,
Just
okay.
bringing that. Thank
So,
you.
like I was saying, it is a must that we should change the narrative. And like our brother Socrates said, we should start changing this narrative. I am trying to see, or I'm employing, if the bridge government can hear me, we should create institutions that will push this. We should do more of programs that will push the narrative of Biafra far before 1967. Far before 1967, because I do not think that these people have any intention of trying to make, but they can't hold us back. We are already, what we are doing is we're in right. They cannot blackmail us to say we are killing people or we are making people suffer, whereas these guys are the ones who started this rubbish. You went back on your word and started killing, started coming to our borders with war and all these kind of things, and thinking that we should just sit back and watch. Look at what they're doing in our homeland, sending as much soldiers, if not because of Mazi Simon Ekpa and his, our gallant angels. Do you know where we'll be right now? They want to still enforce that old treaty of telling. Imagine having a treaty written, the Queen or the British Empire has jurisdiction solely to them in your land. Is it your land? How can you come and claim right over my land and tell me that is a treaty? It must be so. We should protect that, basically turn us into watchdogs to watch over our properties for you while you drill and do everything possible to milk us dry. If not the fact that the land is created by the Most High and we don't know the source and the end of it. By now, do you know how wretched we will be? Because these people will sit down there, stretch their pipe, and just continue sucking every mineral resources they can find, from palm oil to cotton to even silk. Okay, now, do you know that your country, Biafra, produced silk? We were one of the top producers of silk till today. Now you go to the market to go and be buying Indian silk and Romanian silk and all this. Meanwhile, your country was one of the best silk producers across Africa. Do you know that? Today, where is your silk market? Where is it? You can't find it.
Sorry,
It's gone.
the silk that generate annually almost 6 point something billions of dollars, they close it.
Thank you. Where is that document? Where is that revenue going to? You don't even know where it is. They've shut that place down. They blocked your mind. The only thing you think of, the only thing they let you know is, oh, they sell your oil. My brothers and sisters, they are taking more beyond oil and gas. And they don't want you to know. And that is why they have hidden those treaties, because those treaties have information that they know they cannot do without. My people, I have to leave you for now. I leave you in good hands of my brother Chukwumeze. Something came up, but I'll come back. If the space is still up, I will be here. Thank you very much. And Chukwu Okike Abiyama bless every one of us as we fight the battle of truth. And please, very importantly, fund this government, because with your funds, we will push more and more. Fund this government as much as you can, as little as you have. Fund the government. We need those funds to push back. Thank you very much, and Chukwu Okike bless you.
Please, my sister, before you go, please. I think I wouldn't say you shouldn't go where you want to go. Place to go, you can go, but I think you guys should organize this topic back and speak more on it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, brother. There, thank you, our professor Eloho. She left. Thank you so much for coming here today. Brian, please take the mic.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to throw more liberation on based on what I know said. Understand? Yeah, you know what? These people, their sole mission is to destroy what you have that stand as a threat to them. They say something that will make you not to develop. Understand? This is like you know who was stating palm oil, how we are telling them how bad the palm oil was. You know, before the excavation or of the sedimentary layer that you people call today the crude. The palm oil was something that was normally refined. That was something that was normally refined. You get so many things from the palm oil. You use it for mobile, that is for cars. The cookies today, the cookies today we eat, that is the biscuit you eat today. They use palm oil. Understand? These people, when they came, I can remember when they came to steal it from our land. People in Malaysia and Indonesia, it is from our land they took those things from. Understand? But later, what do? They need to shut down the effectiveness in Igbo land because they don't want us to grow. They don't want us to develop. They are afraid of our economy because, you know, when Michael Obara handled the economy, became the number one in the whole world. That strike a fear in their mind. And they don't want something to exist again. Like many people know, they don't want you to be like Japan. They don't want you to be like Norway. Understand? So they have to sign many treaties. I mean, I want to go down to the present treaty, which those people in the so-called zoo Asorok will not tell you. That is why you see them when they want to campaign. They go to Charterhouse. They make their manifesto. Who does that? How can a nation be subjected under a nation? It is because of the treaty, the secret treaty they signed. That's what I said before. There is nothing on earth that will make you that will make you lay hands on that treaty. Our own treaty of 1827 is highly classified. But from what I know years ago, threat was a major problem when they wanna cheat on us. So this treaty now, the present treaty they signed in 1914, amalgamation, is why the zoo can never be developed, and is why our side region, eastern region, can never and will never be developed. You know, there was a newslet, my Vanguard precisely, that I saw in the social media about the oil and gas sedimentary system of Anambra Basin, oil and gas that the Anambra Basin oil and gas is more than every oil and gas in Africa. But they will not allow that to be explored. Why? It's still in our area, still in Biafra land. Understand? These people knows the weight you carry, the natural resources of what you carry. So they don't want. So they based on the modern treaty they signed. They not this our 1827. Based on the modern treaty they signed with the zoo, 1914 amalgamation, or 1960 treaty, to make sure that they don't develop the East. They destroy everything that will boost the economy of the East. They will destroy everything that give us the name in the whole world. They will destroy everything that will make it competitive. They will destroy everything. Understand? So many things. I want to use something for example because I like when I speak. I like giving theses, examples. They're telling you where it is. Do you know today the tiles you see today, the tiles, ceramic plate, these tiles, ceramic, and the rest of them in the global market, in the market, at the World Trade Market, that tiles market worth more than $65 billion. understand, of which United States is the highest consumer or the highest market for ties and the rest of it. Do you know today, as I'm talking to you, it is the raw material is presently in Anambra, Oyi precisely. But they will never, the zoo will never go there and mine it. They will never develop it. And the British, even if they want to do that, British will not allow them to do that. And everything is wasting. So these are many things that they will not allow you to develop. They give you education, and they tell you that education is where you have or where you receive instruction or knowledge, instruction or something. But remember, I remember in those days during our own time, we used to have this family education under the moonlight. Families, fathers will gather when there is moonlight, or after 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or 7 o'clock, depending on any family. They will tell you the history, the story, the deep, the secular elders. The same will be happening to your neighbors. How do we know that every family does that? We used to echo. When you echo, in the night it's gonna be somehow quiet. When you echo, somebody in another compound will reply, another person will reply, another person will reply, another person will reply, another person will reply. But these days, it doesn't happen. They kill all this system. They may give you what they call Westminster's law. That is the system, Westminster system of government or whatever. They brought the law. The law you study today is them that brought it. Wherever British go, wherever they pass, whichever road the British pass, they destroy the road. Whichever part they pass, they destroy the part. They put their own. The English you speak today is not British that owns it. English is gotten from the Latin word. So when the British got that word from the English from Latin, what they do? They destroy Latin. They make English a living franca to the whole world. Understand? Common language to the whole world. So this is what these people are. The evil they play. And the worst part of it, is that no law will challenge these people. No court will challenge these people. And have you asked yourself why our case has not been tabled in ICC? He can never table the genocidal war of Biafra in ICC, of the British played the role. Why can't you table this? Because the royal house, that is the British royal house, can never be summoned in the court. They can never be poisoned. These are the rights. This is the power they possesses. They are above the law. The Queen. Let me use the name some people are used to. The late Queen Elizabeth, as the head of the royal palace, can never be summoned to the law. She is the law. Understand?
Are you there? Brian, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
We cannot hear from.
I'm here.
We can't hear from him again.
Can you people hear me?
Oh yeah, you're coming out. Please, can you
Yeah,
run?
we can hear you.
Okay,
Now.
can you run up in 2 minutes?
Okay. So this is the power. This is the power the British possesses, and they use to suppress the world. Understand? You can't take them to the court. You can't take that royal house to the court. That their house. You can't take it to the court. They are law. They are a court. Understand? Like the Chukwumereze said about the Anglican. They are the lead. They are the church of Anglican, the Church of Canterbury. They are the church themselves. They are the leader. So this is some of the things they have taken over, of which they are fighting for Biafra not to come, but Biafra has come. because Biafra, we have the right of itself. Because just like modern African countries, they believe they claim to be free when they're not free. No African is free. They were just given freedom. But they're not free. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Am I coming out? If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, go on, I can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you, our brother Brian. You see, everything is well spot on. And like I say, Biafra is our only solution. The coming of Biafra means a stop to so many things. The same palm oil they tell you is bad for your health. The same palm oil they tell you that you don't need to consume it. But do you know that most cosmetic companies, the likes of L'Oreal, all these big cosmetic companies, one of the major ingredients they use in their products is from palm oil, most especially the palm kernel seed, the palm kernel oil. So they tell you all these things because they're trying to always hide, they try to hide the vital information you need to know because they know that once you know about that thing, you can make revenue from it. But they don't want you to. Just like today now, they tell you they are moving towards green energy, green energy, green energy. Because they understand what is going on with oil. All these things they do is always an agenda. These people don't do things without an agenda. Everything they do is because of an agenda. Coming of Biafra will put a stop to everything. It will be the beginning of freedom for the whole black race. It will convert Africa from a consumer nation into a productive nation. Therefore, all those their waste products that they always ship down to Africa to sell to you, like their Okri cars, their Tokumbo cars, or their used spare parts, that market automatically will close. And it is very, very laughable that everything that they use in making what they sell to us today is because of they get it from our land. And do you know that these people go as far as having an MOU with all these 2Gs to tell you that you cannot produce anything. Everything you will use, they have to produce it for you.
And sell it back to you as well.
Yeah, they will produce. They will steal it. They will steal the raw material at a very low rate, at a very next to nothing price. They will produce it, bring it back to you, and sell it at high price. The coming of Biafra will give a lot of our people in diaspora a relief, a stress relief. All that period of you having to do 2, 3, 4 jobs, that's if you decide to stay in the diaspora, you will not have to do that anymore. Because the government of Biafra will create an enabling environment. Even those in back home will be so busy working. People will have jobs to do. Because our leader says it's going to take us 75 years to build Biafra. So there's going to be a lot of job to do. People will make ends meet. People will be able to feed themselves, take care of themselves. We will not have to go through all these things. But that's what they don't want. But what I can say to them is it's too late. I'm sorry, because those who are meant to restore this freedom are here. And we are not going to leave until we finish that work. So it's very important that what we are doing, we need to double our effort. And most especially, it is very important that the government cannot do it without us. That's why we need to always back the government. See yourself as an ambassador. Everywhere we go, you have to speak about Biafra. Speak about it. Fund the government. Those of you who know your politicians and where you reside, take that message to them. It is very important because in the next few months, a lot is going to be happening. Biafra is going to be on the next stage like never before. We are going to declare Biafra, and when we declare, we must defend it. All this costs money, all this costs effort, dedicated people. So everybody needs to come on board. Let me give our brother Ben Chooks the mic, please. And like we all know, today is fundraising, so I will be winding the space down maybe in the next 30 minutes so that we all can go and prepare for our fundraising. So Ben Chooks, you have the mic, please.
Thank you so much, Mazi Chukuma. Thank you for this wonderful day. You know, Many Biafrans doesn't know that we have a formidable vision leader, a leader who has a vision, like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the PM. You see, in most of his teachings, he led many things, like what the topic of untold stories. Do you know why they tried to bring Dr. Michael Okpara down? It's because Biafra is growing to the extent that British will not see even our back during his time. What do we have in the East, in Biafra land? Palm oil. Palm oil, coal. And all these things are very, very, very vital till tomorrow. All the clothes you wear today, they are being made up from the oil from the palm kernel. They push them to the southeast, to the Asian. Then they drill it and produce the oil. From there, they start using it to produce all these clothes we are wearing. Nike, Puma, Adidas, all of them. They are from palm kernel. Today, the coal, go every part of Europe here, they make barbecue, it's from coal. Formerly, they use it in train, but now they are using in cooking or making fire. And it's very expensive. And they try to kill it in Biafra land because they don't want us to progress. They don't want you to be more than them. And our people being so naive and so lazy, then Fulani came. British told them, this is what you have, these people have. Okay. Find a way in bringing them down. And they keep on doing it. These are untold stories. Some people doesn't know why they don't want Biafra to strive. But this time around.
Okay, Biafrans, we are going to end it because our fundraising is coming right now. Make sure you share the flyer, share it everywhere you see it. God bless Biafrans all over the world. God bless our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. God bless our PM, BLA, Biafra government, and everybody. Ada Biafra.